Again, we've got our featured pros here, right? We've been following Sam Black, Pascal Maynard, and Fabrizio and Terry. And here down in the feature match area this round, well, we've got those three players again, and we're going to head down there now for round number 6. Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Barcelona. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Bueller. We're ready for round number 6, where we've been following our featured pros. This time we've got Sam Black on the main table. He's playing against Simon Nielsen.
Yeah, pretty good pairing. We might have featured this one anyway.
Yeah, this is a really nice one. Simon plays for Team Eureka.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a big team. He also is qualified for the Magic Online Championship. Not this year, but the next one.
Right, which is now even sort of harder to do in a weird way. Instead of having one a month, you've got these quarterly tournaments. You sort of build up 3 months worth of players who are doing well, and Simon won the first of those.
And those things are stacked too, by the way. Winning one of those is incredibly difficult. Platinum pros in there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Simon kind of only a silver pro, but definitely one of the up-and-comers. Also remember that Danish national team that won the World Magic Cup.
That's right. Sam, now, interesting stuff here. You see that he's at 4-1 along with Simon, and we see a Loam Dryad, a card that you don't see very often. And we haven't seen really any of these cards very often since the set's so new, but it's not one that I expect to see that often as the set progresses. Meanwhile, by the way, it beats down. I love that.
I've heard some people saying Loam Dryad is actually pretty good.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see.
My impression was the same as yours.
Yeah.
1/2 for 1. I have to tap another creature to get mana. Doesn't sound that exciting to me, but some people seem to like it.
But, when you're playing blue-green and you want to splash that Sorin.
And that is Sam's deck. It is blue-green splash Sorin. Sorin, you may have noticed, is neither blue nor green.
This is interesting. It looks like the Reckless Scholar here may be getting ready to get rid of a Nagging Thoughts. Just to go full value mode. Oh, it is indeed. Look at this.
You enjoying this, Marshall?
I like this. Simon Nielsen bravely paving the way for us value fiends here. Thank you, Simon. Now, he doesn't really have much else going on, but thankfully for him, he's really only facing down a Graph Mole and the 1/2 there, so he's only going to be taking 3 damage. Oh, wow. Welcome to the fold, friend. So that's going to just go ahead and steal, just outright take the Reckless Scholar, which is so brutal. And we've seen Sam really use that card to the best of its ability, sometimes stealing bigger things with Madness and sometimes just stealing, one of the better commons in the set there. Just take it. No play there from Nielsen. What do you make of that?
I'd be a little worried about permission.
Yeah, would be too. I mean, Sam's the one who's ahead on board here.
Right.
He's going to go ahead and loot with the Scholar. He does get to pick which player he's going to take himself. Now it's doing work on both sides of the table.
Yeah, more likely than permission out of Simon is 3/3 Flying Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you see Sam only attacks with the 2/4, and yeah, there it is. 3/3 Flying Flash.
Pretty telegraphed. It's going to go ahead and block. Looks like a Silent Observer is the follow-up play for black here. This has to benefit Sam as well, the fact that this game, he's ahead on board, but not a lot. The 3/3 flyer really does kind of help him out in that way. And Sam presumably has a better late game, though Simon very well may as well. It looks like we've got a bit of a Sultai Mirror on our hands here. Though Sam splashing well beyond just the original black. He's actually splashing for activated abilities, too, in this deck. It's kind of cool. He's been able to leverage these splashes for more than just Sorin.
Yeah, Simon's splash is just for throttle.
For a throttle? Okay. Well, there it is. And Sam has to feel pretty good about this,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, he just had to throttle his own creature. Sam just dutifully hands it back to him.
Well,
Mana
Dryad
is being
doing
made,
work.
and this is pour over the pages. So he's going to put 3 cards in his hand. He's going to get to untap a couple of lands here as well. Uh-oh. Duskwatch Recruiter, yeah.
That's a good one.
One of the better cards in the set. Especially at uncommon. And it threatens a lot here. Simon just used his throttle, and being blue-green primarily means it's going to be pretty tough. Here's Nephalia Moondrakes, though. So that's a nice clock. He puts up a nice 5-power flyer, gets by the Silent Observer quite cleanly here as well. But Sam does get to untap here, and he even has 2 activations of the Duskwatch Recruiter available if he wants it. But looks like, ooh, he's got some big hitters of his own here. Uh-oh, that isn't white, is it?
6.
Sorin, it is! Oh, man. Minus Sorin to kill the Moondrakes, and you still have Sorin around, and you gain 5 life. Oh, man, that's so brutal. And Sam's even going to go ahead and attack with the mole here. Simon's going to block, and Sam has it, too. I think, the thing is, that attack looks so innocuous just because Sam really can free roll it. He just has no fear of any type of haste creature on the ground. And Simon says, you're supposed to attack here. Oh, but he has one of the only ways to actually get in through damage. Wow, and his colors? There's like nothing outside of that, right? Oh, man, Explosive Apparatus does too. Redirect to Sorin and takes him down. A graph mole for Nielsen, but he's way behind here. Remember, if at any point Sam doesn't want to play something, he can just start activating his Duskwatch Recruiter.
Yeah. So you feel like it's a victory for Simon that Sorin only got the Drakes and the Explosive Apparatus.
Yeah, just a 2-for-1 and gain 5 life. There's an Explosive Apparatus for Sam, but he's left up 2 activations of the Duskwatch Recruiter here. And he is just going to start churning through his library. We've seen him hit this part of the late game multiple times now, and it's been really good for him. And here we go. First activation finds a nice one, a Quilled Wolf. And he's going to get to activate it again here. Oh, I wonder if I never knew if you could do that or not.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah, you can see that Sam,
smart.
He's put a card sideways, and I'm assuming that marks the level at which he knows where the cards start.
Right.
I always wondered that. I've actually asked a few people. None of them were judges because there wasn't a judge handy at the moment. If I could set my deck in a way that let me know.
Yeah. Well, he clearly has.
I always assumed you couldn't. I have no reasoning for that whatsoever. It just kind of felt weird to do it. But yeah, it looks like you're fine with it. So that's kind of cool. Once again, Sam is content to just keep pecking away in the air. He doesn't really have attacks on the ground, and he can just keep activating this Duskwatch Recruiter and generating card advantage. And there's that Quilled Wolf. And again, he's left up the 2 activations. Yeah, this is just such bad news for Simon as he's just getting out-carded here. All right. Here comes the Duskwatch Recruiter once again as he moves things forward.
Jeez.
Now he's found the worm as well. Yeah, this one's just starting to spiral out of control here. Again, all thanks to the Duskwatch. And it is going to transform here as well. as well, yeah, there we go. Sam can activate it with the ability on the stack if he'd like as well, and he should probably consider that. Yeah, looks like he's going to consider that. All right.
Yeah, he's reached for the card for his draw step. That's the only weird part.
Well, it's sitting in front of him. Yeah,
right. We know exactly what card it is.
But he needs to make sure that that's included in the pile here.
Indeed.
Now, he hasn't seen it, though, right? He just put it down in front of him.
Right.
So I don't think that it – I think he should just – I'd probably just put it back on top of his library, I guess, but – looks like they may be taking a pause here to sort it out. But basically what happened is that Sam went to draw his card. He was in the process of drawing it, and Simon said, well, your Duskwatch Recruiter is going to transform.
Yeah, mandatory trigger.
Right. And then Sam went to pick up the Duskwatch Recruiter to transform it, and then thought, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I should actually activate it, and has decided, yes, I am going to activate it. And so one of the first card, the one that's sitting in front of him on the table there, should be part of that 3-card pile. Looks like he's getting it sorted out with the judge, I'm assuming, here. So we'll let that happen. This, of course, just gets into that area about, where exactly they're at, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the judge is is just to say, well, if you've already drawn the card, then you're in your draw step, and then they can put the trigger on the stack and do things. All right, good. So he just put it back on top, and off we go. And by the way, look at how much of his library he's churned through there. The sideways pile is the first known card that he has on top from activating this thing. And it's, here in Limited, I mean, you just go right through it, 3 cards per turn. And he's hit every time as well. So
no, he missed once.
Oh, did he miss once?
He missed on the second time.
All right, well, he has hit the vast majority of times here and has really found himself way ahead. Looks like he's got 6 or so cards left. Now it's going to transform, and he's just going to empty out the rest of his hand, draw a card for the turn. One. Even through all this, he somehow still hasn't found any good clean attacks on the ground.
Well, there's better things to spend his mana on. The Quillpack Wolf could attack.
The Quilled Wolf, I mean, you'd think he'd just rumble with it. I guess he just doesn't want to spend a whole turn being forced to pump it. And now here's the Worm. We've seen Sam really clean up a lot of board states with that Soul Swallower there. And when you see a Planeswalker in your graveyard, don't you just automatically get Delirium? Is that just like a shortcut? He did play 2 spells this turn.
Gotta get the Duskwatch Recruiter back on the good side.
He can activate it again. Poor Simon. Sam Black at 25 life. It's just not a lot he can do. Well, at least he has an answer, though, for the Soul Swallower. He's got a Daring Sleuth, which looks perhaps not so daring here. Sam did not activate it. He found a byway courier for his draw step, but still content to just chip away for 1. And pass, and yeah, he's just going to keep playing that Duskwatch Recruiter card over and over and over. Cancel that. Let's make a 3/3 flyer instead. It does increase his clock quite nicely here. Uh-oh, now he has the ability to give double strike as well.
Yeah, only to humans.
Does he have any humans? Yeah, he's got a few. He's got the Courier, the Recruiter.
It may now be time for ground creatures to attack.
Yeah, one of them anyway.
Still not a human, but
So Quidwolf's going to get into the
he's
red zone
run out of
here.
better things to do with 6 mana.
Yeah.
Progress for Simon, I guess?
Sam's only got 3 cards left in his library that he hasn't seen or picked through in some way. Looks like he's just going to go ahead and bounce it after it got pumped up. So, you know, takes a good chunk of tempo away from Sam there. But in the process, Sam takes a good chunk of Simon Nielsen's life total. And Sam Black in grind mode here.
Yeah,
And
Simon
that's going
has
to
seen
do it.
enough.
Yeah, Simon has had enough of that. That was one of those games. I'll make sure the sleep paralysis goes back over to Simon there.
Yeah, he wanted as much information about Sam's deck as he could get, and then he wanted time to win game 2 and 3. That was Simon's plan. So Sam up a game.
All right, let's jump over and see what Fabrizio and Terry's got going on with that red-white deck. He's playing against Leo Cadeau, and whoa, Leo looks like he's got an aggressive build here. I see a Call the Bloodline already down on the battlefield.
Wow.
And he's got an Heir to the Night in the air, as it were.
Call to the Bloodline. Oh, he's playing one of his 2.
Wow. Wait, what?
He's only playing one of his 2 Calls of the Bloodline?
Call of the Bloodlines. Didn't they tell him you could just discard the other one? Or?
Well, he's going to be too busy discarding his 2 Fiery Tempers.
Goodness sakes. Well, Fabrizio could be in for big trouble here. He's fine. He is up a game, but he's at 7 life, and he looks like he's going to be taking a good chunk in the air here, potentially, or maybe just everywhere.
Wow. Murderous Compulsion in there. Twins. Deck looks great.
Silver Strike's an interesting one here, as that's sort of the card that seems most obvious if you're sitting in Leo's seat.
Sure.
And we'll see if he wants to play into it or not here. I don't think Fabrizio has one, though. Jeez. Well, this isn't getting any better for Fabrizio. And, yeah, Leo is having none of it. He's just attacking with everything, including the Valdaran Duelist that he just played. And I think this is Fabrizio scooping up his permanents here, as he's seen enough, and he takes lethal damage this turn. So we came just in time to see the end of game 2 there as we work our way into game 3. There's only been one game played here on Sam Black versus Simon Nielsen, though. And it looks like they're still leisurely sideboarding here, Randy.
Haven't seen an update yet, but Pascal Maynard was paired against Jan Massacard this round. Both players 4-0-1. Jan has a GP win back in 2009. We were talking last round, by the way, about how many Grand Prix Fabrizio Anteri has won, and I was speculating about how many people have actually won more Grand Prix than Fabrizio Anteri.
He's won 4, right?
He's won 4.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the number? How many people in the history of Magic do you think have won more than 4 Grand Prix?
5.
Yeah, number 6.
It's 6?
It's a very good guess. But my guess was a single-digit number.
Yeah. Wow, that's insane. Yeah, he is in some really select company there. The closer.
Indeed.
Because I would assume that if you compared his sheer number of top 8s to the players who have more than him, right. he doesn't have as many as them, right?
Right.
Like Shuhei with 27, right. Or whatever. Yeah, winning GPs is hard. I mean, there's over 2,000 players here. Like, you don't have to beat every one of them, but you gotta outlast every one of them.
Yeah, Sam has 11 GP top 8s, 0 wins. All since 2009.
That is one of the weird things about being a tournament game player of really any sort, Like, you look at somebody like Sam, who, by most measures, has had a very successful Magic career. He's got a couple of Pro Tour top 8s. He's well respected. He's been platinum for a while. Like, he's a full-time Magic pro, but, like, he's never won a GP. He's never won a PT. Like, he puts all of his focus into winning Magic tournaments of this level, and he's never won one. And it's just like...
He's still one of the most successful
And he's still
players.
one of the best. And, like, that was true for, like Patrick Chapin before he won the PT. Like,
right.
It turns out, like, literally getting that first place, taking the trophy home prize, really, really difficult.
There aren't that many of them given out.
Yeah, there's just not that many to get. It's a really fascinating aspect of our game.
Sam does not look happy with that draw.
He is in the tank for sure, and he is one that's usually quite quick to make his decisions. And yeah, that was an indicator that he was going to mulligan.
And the peak. He's a peaker.
Yeah, he always
palm off the top 3
He always
4.
looks at the top 3. Yeah.
It's always 3?
Yeah, it is.
All right, our game 3 then. Leo Cadeau with the really sweet-looking black-red deck.
And this is just the scariest start you can get. Aaron Falkenrath. Yeah, it's just to me, it's just the scariest card in the format. Like, if you're planning on, like, look at the start from Fabrizio. I mean,
Unruly Mob.
Yeah, it just looks terrible here, right? Like, Leo could madness in any number of creatures here. He could madness in a removal spell. Okay, he's going to encourage a fight here. Interesting. So Skin Invasion goes on. And then Leo just passes the turn back.
He wants to block.
Indicating that he wants to transform and block and then get himself a 3/4, giving him 6 power next turn, ready to attack. I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable. But Anteri obviously sees all this coming. Will do pretty much whatever he can to clear a path. Is that skin inversion of his own?
Yeah, it is a skin invasion of his own. So he's like, if you're going to get a 3/4, I want a 3/4. That is too funny. This Unruly Mob has the worst rash ever.
So Leo doesn't block.
So he doesn't block.
I don't want us both to have a 3/4.
Oh, this is great. We're going to go ahead and stay here on this one for a little bit. Our first match, Sam did end up keeping. But I actually want to stay here because that one's in game 2 and tends to go long. And this is in game 3, and it looks like a real firefight here, and I want to see this.
Crow. Still no transform on the air.
But he does have an ominous red mana up over there. You said he has 2 Fiery Temper?
He did.
Okay. So
Crow blocks. The unruly mob eats it.
So if you want to keep an eye, by the way, on our main match, that's in the lower right-hand side, that sand black on the left down there. So you can passively keep an eye on it. But we'll jump down to it once this one's done. I just want to get a feel for where this goes.
Woof, that's where it goes.
Oh, yes.
Release the hounds.
Hound of Devil's Breach there. The Wolf of Devil's Breach. So that thing's going to completely change the way that this game plays out if Fabrizio is able to, well, even just get one attack step with it, it could be devastating.
Yeah, all that text says is kill it if you can. That's what those words say.
Yeah, if he has the ability to kill that, he has to, because it's going to start chewing up his board state pretty quickly.
It is both a 5/5 and also lets Fabrizio discard cards to deal damage equal to their CMC.
Yeah.
Only to creatures or planeswalkers, though.
All right, well, it looks like Leo's had enough of it. He's just going to pitch a mountain here.
Yeah.
And try to race the hound, the wolf?
It's not going to work.
That's not going to work. Reduce it to ashes? Something, Leo? No, he passes a turn back. Uh-oh, this could be Fabrizio taking control of this game. That is 5 mana, though, for Leo, so this is kind of interesting. Hey, look, he found an answer. What the? Do 5 to that. Do 3 to you. Lightning Axe, Fiery Temper. That's a lot of damage to throw around. I wonder if he's considering just throwing the Fiery Temper at the wolf as well. He did. He's like, I'm going to do 8 to that thing. Because if you have a pump spell and you save it, I lose this game. I don't blame him. The 3 to him can add up, but any number of pump spells save it. In fact, basically any pump spell in the format saves it. I like that, actually, from Leo. It's a safer play, and I think it's correct.
Hey, look, a pump spell.
A pump spell. Strength of Arm. So really smart play there from Leo Cadeau. That was excellent. He does end up losing his Skin Shedder, but he's fine with taking a 1-for-1 for that. And there's a Dauntless Cathar. And the clock is live. 3 power in the air, but he's going to need to find a way to kill at least one of these threats if he's going to be able to race, because right now he's taking 6 on the crackback, and that will end him quickly. Nothing? He's got a throttle to take down the Shedder. Okay.
Sure.
Interesting thing about the line that Leo did take, though, is that he did wait till Fabrizio's turn, which is risky. Like he could have got the 3 damage for free, right? Because Fabrizio, I don't think, had any mana up. If I recall correctly, he may have already had the 1 white mana up anyway, though. All right, well, looks like we're back to ground zero here for Leo, but Fabrizio's the one left standing after the reduced to ashes. Well, now nobody has anything, although that will turn into a 1/1 Flying Spirit here in a moment on Fabrizio's side. Oh, geez. Near Heath Chaplain now for Fabrizio and Terry's a big play. Lifelink, huge. It's got 3 power, so it takes a pretty good clock. Well, never mind. Cancel that order. Here's a Call to Bloodline, and he's just going to go ahead and right away make a Vampire. Could wait till your opponent's turn there. But Fabrizio doesn't care. He's just like, you know what? That's fine. I'd rather have the Flyers anyway. maybe also just gives him something to do with his mana this turn that he might not have had.
He even gets 3 life for his trouble.
He does. That thing's dead. You gain a life. Yeah, Fabrizio, keep reminding Leo that the vampire has passed. All right, a couple more flyers, and this is one way that we see these white decks do it, and now we see why Leo wanted to make a Call the Bloodline counter a token on his turn. He actually had an extra land in his hand as well, so your turn as well. And I think he's just going to pass the turn back here.
This sort of vanilla use of Call the Bloodline doesn't seem amazing here. I mean, the card seems great, but without Madness spells on hand to really eke out that advantage,
yeah,
it's just being trumped by the random spirits that white gets almost for free.
Yeah. Now the Inspiring Captain is going to increase the clock even further. Here's Tormenting Voice now for Leo. He just pitches a land.
Plays land.
Nothing like the old Voldaran Duelist on defense play, huh?
Not exactly plan A.
Yeah, and you know what? Fabrizio, he senses that this is now the time to go, so he's going to reduce it to ashes and get in there for 5, and that means that Leo...
Kiddo's life total.
It is, yeah. Leo can block next turn no matter what he draws here. Whoa, what did he find? Oh, a Graceblade Angel. Okay, now we've got a real game again here. Angel off the top for Leo means that he is stabilized. It's going to have to go away. And it's a Vessel of Ephemera. That's not going to get it done. Oh, man. That is interesting. Right in the nick of time, too. Wow.
4/4 flyer, though. Terry can kind of go around it, can't he?
Well, let's see. He may be able to now, thanks to the extra flyer. So there's that. Take 3, but also Fabrizio takes 4 here.
Sure.
It shouldn't matter, but all right. Well, now things are starting to look pretty dire here for Leo, and he's going to have to extend the hand. Okay, so that's going to do it for that one. Fabrizio and Terry improves to 6-0. Let's jump to our main match, which somewhat predictably is still underway in Game 2 here.
Fabrizio and Terry is undefeated. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Just casually 6-0, no problem.
So what are we looking at here? Well, that's a lot of toughness and not a lot of power for Sam Black. Yeah, maybe his Moldgraph Scavenger is actually live anyway. Sam just cracked that apparatus. And this is going to be a pour over the pages for Sam Black. He's really been using these nicely. But wait, there's more. Byway Courier. All right. And he's going to go ahead and play that last land out of his hand and just pass the turn back. It looks like this game's been going on for quite a while based on the graveyards. They've really exchanged a significant amount of resources here. And it looks like Simon's just going to take this turn off. He only has the 1 card in hand from what I can see there.
Wants to flip his werewolf.
Yeah, just going to get that thing all transformed up into 6/5 with Menace. It's like right on time, right? Once we hit the mid to late stage of the game, Sam deploys his finisher, which is Duskwatch Recruiter. It just that has been the card that has led him to his victories every time that we've seen him play. He just starts activating this thing, and it just gets completely out of hand.
Looks like this is now the last feature match going.
Looks like it.
Pascal Maynard has now lost in addition to a draw, so X 1-1 for him. 4-1-1 at this point. Jan Massacard beat him 2-0. And we also had Shahar Shenhar and Josh McClain in the feature match area, where Shahar was the winner.
Okay, Simon's going to go ahead and attack here, and this is a big attack. Sam Black put in a lot of work to get stabilized, but is at 7 life. Sam's going to activate the recruiter here before blocks to make sure that he has as much information as possible before making the requisite minimum double block here. Drew now a corpse trawler there for Sam Black. It's going to be really nice for him next turn, but he may want to dedicate a bunch of blocks here just to get rid of this Ravager.
No, it just goes down to 1.
You can see that Simon's playing a completely different deck than he was in the first game. He's on red-white aggro now. We saw him play blue-green-black in the first game, right? If I remember correctly.
You do.
And this is going to be tough because with that first deck, you know, the ability for Simon to actually get in for the last chunks of damage looks pretty unlikely. But here with red, absolutely possible to just sneak in for a point of damage from a spell or something. Okay, Sam looks like he's going to attack for 6 here. Which Simon is going to oblige. Oh, there's a Voldaran Duelist out of nowhere. Confirmed suspicions, though, for Sam Black is going to counter it and get him 3 clues. Does he have enough blockers here? He does. He can double block, block, and block. Ooh, that was a big one.
Yeah.
Confirmo. Sam is tapped out now, though, so the corpse trawler no longer able to give anything death touch.
Sam's at 1, so
Yeah,
he's obliged to block everything.
He's got to block it all. And the Machinations is going to take down the recruiter. Okay, well, Sam still has some work to do here. He's got a lot of resources at his disposal with the 3 clues sitting there as well. But at 1 life, he has no wiggle room whatsoever. He's immediately going to crack a clue looking for action because he drew a land for the turn. Oh, was that a mole? It is. Oh, my God. What a nice draw for Sam. That effectively banks him 6 life. Oh, and Simon just has to cringe because he knows he didn't have it at first. He would have played it and then cracked a clue if he did.
Yep.
So back up to 4 goes Sam Black as he draws a card. He finds Combat Trick here. And he's probably just going to have to play his land for the turn and then pass. I think he'd want to keep that ability to crack the clue and play his Combat Trick. The trick also gives him the ability to gain even more life next turn because it generates a clue itself. Well, he might just main phase it here. He's just going to do it on the flyer.
Wow.
And that does it. Yeah, actually, that's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow, it's exactly lethal.
Wow.
That's insane. Wow, I actually thought he was 1 short without it, but that is it. So that's going to do it. Sam Black wins his round 2 games to 0. They were 2 pretty impressive games as well. So, whew. Good stuff down in the feature match area here from Barcelona in round 6.